We will start out this morning by taking a look at the high-resolution model data, and this is simulated radar, a good approximation. What it actually demonstrates is we have a pretty widespread area here today of severe thunderstorm potential, and I'll show you the official SPC outlook here in just a second. But high pressure controls much of the central plains, northern plains, so some nice quiet weather there. Let's look at yesterday's severe weather reports. We actually had a waterspout report in Louisiana and also a tornado report just off to the west-southwest of Killeen, Texas yesterday. The one in New Orleans or south of New Orleans there was a little unexpected, but the one in Texas was in an area where they were looking at the possibility of tornadoes. Thunderstorm wind gusts were over 60 miles per hour in a couple of locations south of Lawton yesterday and out along Interstate 40. We had some wind gusts into the lower and mid 60 mile per hour range. And also, this was not necessarily severe. Severe weather, thunderstorm winds are 39 mile or 59 miles per hour or greater. So these were all 40, 50 mile per hour wind gusts in Ohio at that thunderstorm line yesterday. So technically below the criteria for severe, but still obviously damaging in certain respects. Look at this, with that same thunderstorm that produced the tornado, 4.5-inch hail diameter in that storm, again to the west of Killeen, Texas. And also numerous reports of 2.5, 2.75-inch hail through that part of the world as well. Those were severe weather reports over the last 24 hours. So let's get on to today's extended risk for severe weather. We're looking at this enhanced area from the central part of Kentucky all the way down to Austin. So this is a pretty good chance of severe weather. This particular forecast does not discriminate between tornadoes and hail and strong winds. It just says all three are possible. It's a pretty broad area, actually. That's the 3 out of 5 risk category right there, with the 2 out of 5 covering even more real estate. What about the tornado threat? Well, it is there. There is a 2% tornado risk that runs in the core of that. So Austin up to northern Louisiana, central and northern Mississippi, all the way up to Nashville. A 2% chance of a tornado within 25 miles of any point within that green area. The entire dynamic of severe weather is shifting east. This has been a trend for the last couple of days and is still true. So Saturday's severe weather forecast covers a pretty broad area here. And as always, when they update that in the morning, there could be tweaks to that. In other words, in the center of that, there could be a slight risk, which is 2 or something. I have a feeling that they'll probably upgrade parts of that to 2 tomorrow, but I don't think we're going to go to enhanced. Again, these are all just probability forecasts. What's the chance of it happening? And then we go ahead to Sunday. This shrinks even more. So basically, mostly South Carolina and a small part of Georgia and North Carolina under a risk for severe weather on Sunday. And I thought this would happen. So the Storm Prediction Center has a forecast for days 4 through 8. So Monday is day 4. And as I was showing you in the videos last couple of days, some of the computer learning models have been showing West Texas, Central Texas was at least a chance for some severe storms. Well, the Weather Service, the Storm Prediction Center, will only pull a trigger if they think it's a 15% or higher, and they did. So Midland, Lubbock, those areas, not quite San Antonio, but that area just to the west and northwest of Austin and San Antonio has a severe weather risk for Monday. If we take a look at the SIP severe weather possibility, it pretty much matches that. They also put a little bit of severe weather activity in the Carolinas and parts of Virginia on Monday that has not officially been trigger pulled yet. So keep an eye on that. And also the Colorado State Machine Learning does, and they do this rather nicely when the Storm Prediction Center does issue an outlook like that, see there, and then they show what their probability is. So that mirrors pretty well with that. And really, increasingly, there's no reason to argue with a lot of these in the future. Sure, we always need a human being forecaster, but a lot of times this sums it up pretty well. So that's Monday's forecast, so West Texas and Central Texas under the gun. On Tuesday, that threat actually shifts southern Oklahoma into, again, northern Texas and central Texas. That's on Tuesday. Pretty good agreement here with the other machine learning model, the CSU model, although they have it more into Louisiana. That's a 15% risk of severe weather. So when you see that and the Storm Prediction Center doesn't do anything yet, it's just because they don't they're looking at the computer models and for discrepancies, and so they're doing the exact, and they're using experience. So, but when you look at this, you might think that maybe tomorrow's outlook would, so these long range ones are issued once a day overnight. So they may extend that. So that's why I give you this heads up kind of graphical look. And on Wednesday, even lower probabilities, but sometimes it has to do with length of time out that we're talking about. So when we start getting this far out, yeah, it gets a little wishy-washy. And then on Thursday, not much of a threat, really. Maybe along, it looks like a trailing front there in parts of Mississippi, Alabama, and Georgia. We'll look finally at the NIU composite for supercells. It verifies. So this is basically, the forecast is May 2nd. That should say 2nd on the upper right-hand corner, through the 8th. And it kind of verifies all those outlooks. So this is actually kind of a verification of what I just showed you, because I go 7 days out. But if we go to the next week, severe weather actually quiets down quite a bit, May 8th through the 15th, maybe some activity in Florida and Texas again, and in the high plains of all places. But those are very low supercell probabilities. But then we go to May 15th through the 22nd, and it looks like Oklahoma ramps up again into Arkansas and Missouri. And again, a supercell is just one of the basic things you need to have happen to have any kind of meaningful or widespread severe weather possibilities. It doesn't mean it's going to happen, but it means at least we have the element that will, the structure of the storm that will produce those things is going to be there, or at least there's a high probability that it's going to be there. Thanks for watching this update. I hope you found this edition of Severe Weather Outlooks useful. It's published daily after the Morning Storm Prediction Center Outlook. Remember to subscribe to the channel and like this video. Also, the latest outlooks can be found in the link in the description.